fellow Sublime Text fanatics. Nerd here. Welcome to this Monday's YouTube live Sublime Text stream thing. Kind of lost my train of thought there in the middle. Hello. How's everybody doing? Hope you're doing fantastic and well. I also am doing well. I've just had a brief interlude with the puppy, making sure that he's safe and comfortable there under the desk as we get started on the first of potentially 2 streams that will happen this evening. We're going to spend a little bit of time here on YouTube working on this Sublime Text package that we've been working on, maybe a couple of other related or unrelated things as well. Of course, answering any questions anybody that might have that pops into the stream as well. And once that's done, we're going to perhaps, if there's still time left in the evening, jump over to Twitch, because we've been working on a project over there as well. Different from this, but still using Sublime Text for a friend. We got a little bit of a real-world test for the project that we were working on just this past weekend. Things seem to work fairly well. We're adding a little bit more polish to it, and there's going to be a stream later today, again, if we're still feeling up to it. Plus, a daytime stream tomorrow, maybe even a bonus evening stream tomorrow as well. And then onto the regular Wednesday, Friday Twitch streams. If you're interested in any of that development action, there should be a link down in the description of this video, whether you're watching this live or you're watching it Memorex. You can follow me in both locations. In all cases, we use Sublime Text, and I am completely open to answering any questions you might have about stuff. What we have been working on here on the channel is, pardon me, I got a frog in my throat, a change to the override audit package as sort of one last feature / bug fix / update that we can push out with this version as a new version before we cut over to officially supporting only Sublime Text 4. So we're going to do a little bit more work on that, make sure things are more or less what we like. Maybe we could even push that release tonight, and then we'll go from there. And then we'll jump over to Twitch. If you're unfamiliar with the project we're working on Twitch, well, you're just going to have to come over and say hi there as well and watch. Twitch accounts are totally free. Love to see you anywhere. We happen to be streaming. And now we shall go to do the coding, while I also take a sip of coffee because I have something caught in my throat. I'm not entirely sure what it is. 1 second. All right, so here we are. Now, what we have been working on is something for our package, our override audit package, so that if someone was curious what this X means, they could hover the mouse over it and get a notification that this override is expired. An override is considered to be expired if the underlying package that contains it has been updated recently. This could mean that the override is now out of date based on other changes. It might need to be changed, or it might not be needed any longer. You can use the diff report to determine if you need to make any changes. While expired, your override might be blocking new bug fixes and features, for example. We may want to add a little bit of link in there. We'll see how this, we'll try to remind ourselves how we implemented this. Next, you might see one of these in one of these, and we say this override is unknown. An override is considered to be unknown for any file that exists inside of the unpacked version of the package in the packages folder, but not inside of the package's Sublime package file. Files of this sort might be old overrides that are no longer needed, or they might be an indication that while working on a package, you forgot to package up a change. So we got to change the text of these a little bit. We also have these. This field provides a shorthand for letting you know the different states in which this package might exist. A package is always at least one of these types, but it could be 2 or even all 3 of them. The different specifications are S. S marks packages that ship with Sublime Text itself. Packages of this type are not installed in a user visible location. I marks user installed packages, installed into the installed packages folder in a Sublime package file. U marks packages that appear as named as a named folder in the packages folder. There's a couple of things we'd like to add to that. And lastly, for the actual package report, each of these, this is the package that ships with Sublime Text itself and is available for every user of Sublime. Packages of this type provide much of the core functionality of the application that you get out of the box. Shipped packages are stored at a special location outside of the normal user configuration area. Don't be alarmed if you can't find them anywhere. You should never directly modify a shipped package. Rather, if you want or need to change default behavior, you should create an override instead. It's very tempting to add extra functionality to these things. If the package is an I, that's going to give us more information. This is a package that is installed as a Sublime package file inside of the installed packages folder. Normally this would be done by package control, but you can also install packages here manually as well. You should never directly modify a package installed in this manner. On a future upgrade, your changes will be discarded. If you want or need to modify the behavior of the package, you should create an override instead. And here, this is a package that appears as a named folder in the packages folder. The contents of this folder represent the contents of the package. When a package appears both in the packages folder and as either a shipped or installed package, any files in the folder and packages will override similarly named files in the underlying package. So there's not all of the terminology is fully correct there. And there's one other thing that we would like to do here. Now, binary is a shipped package. So let's see what happens here. Let's go over here. If we went to, let's see, the packages directory, go down one to the installed packages directory, and we copied from my local Sublime Text packages binary.sublime package to here. I believe we're going to find some information here. Binary overrides shipped package. We can click this and say this package exists as a Sublime package file in both the shipped packages folder as well as the installed packages folder. As a result, the version of the package in the installed packages folder is the one that is being used to provide the base for this package, and the shipped version of the package is completely ignored. Why is that a different color? We must have had a different style plan there for that. When the header for the pop-up also mentions a package is expired, the underlying shipped package has been updated. In this case, the override may be masking new features or bugs. And then we can go back to where we originally came from. That is in the binary package. If we look in the override report, and refresh that, we're not going to see anything in there. Now, if we were to touch, if we were to man touch, because I can never remember how to do this, minus date, I'm assuming. Yeah. If this file was from 1 year ago and named like this, this is a complete override, which is something we need to flag in here, and it's also expired. So I think we're going to need some hover action for those items as well. Something that I thought of after the fact for the other stuff. And in the package report, which would be here, the packages here aren't annotated directly as being complete overrides, but it will appear in here, and it'll also tell you that it's expired. When the header of the pop-up also mentions the package is expired, the underlying shipped package has been updated. In this case, the override may be masking new features. Yeah, okay. So I think that's why we had that color in there. Have I pushed these changes yet? I suppose I have, huh? I have not. There's no remote branch called additional pop-ups. That's nice. That means we can tweak some stuff around. Because I think we need to add some meta syntax scopes for that. That one's fine. Include meta scopes for package specifiers. We're going to call that something like meta.package.something. I'm going to just add in some extra rules for those things. So let's see. It's never going to appear there, but it is going to appear in a diff report. Possibly we want to put that in there as well. And that and that. And if there was a file in there, it's in all three places now. We could do that, and now there's a different item in there. Yeah, all right, so let's try to track all of those particular cases, and we'll be able to actually display more action here. So that is going to be the override report, and override report expired only will also show binary overrides in there as well. And even if there was I'm imagining, otherwise it's a bug, no expired simple overrides found is also something we want to look up here. All right. So with that in place, let us take a look at, this is the override report. That's the expired override report. A diff report is going to similarly, potentially have that as well. In order to see it in a diff report, and I guess we should verify this, we need to look at what's in that package. If we delete that and unzip, test, go down a couple more, and that, the syntax, okay. Install binary.sublime syntax, like so. So we come back to here. That'll actually have the name. The expired only version will display text in there as well. And we could diff it, and it'll show the complete override and expired in there. So those items show up in diff. The no overrides found won't appear if there's not an actual override in there, right? In this particular case, we can see that there's not actually any difference between that file and that file. There just happened to be, well, the file I extracted even ended up having the same date as that one. Okay, so let's move this down. Let's work through these in order. That's just going to be a diff of all packages, so it'll be in there the same as it's in everything else. Let's do override report first. If you happen to be watching this, and if you have any questions about what it is we're doing, do feel free to go ahead and ask those in the chat. Don't worry about interrupting. It is perfectly fine. That's part of the reason why we're here. The other part is to have an excuse to work on this particular package. So we're going to, let's see, look at the first thing we're working on is the override report. Meta package specifier, yes. Bum, bum, bum. No, oh, wait a minute. Oh, that's an unfortunate turn of events. That's a package row. That's not something we care about. That's a package row. That's not something we care about. That's a package row. That's not something we care about. How is it even doing that, to be perfectly honest? Oh, because it's pulling them from somewhere else. Package row comes from diff for those. Right. Let's see. That we don't care about. Package type we don't care about. Okay, so what's that going to say? That's going to be nothing. And that's going to be meta.package.expired. Does that include this? Yes. Meta.package.expired is going to be the text of expired. I'm just making some paper notes here. That's one thing we need to deal with. The other one is the text complete override. That's text inside of angle braces. Those are all just going to be diff lines. Package name enabled expired. Wait, how are we even capturing that? I'm very unhappy with how we managed to pull this off. Set check status. Ah, there we go. That is where the meta package expired comes from. And this should be meta.package.override? What do we say? What if we made that override? Is it clear that there's a difference between override and not? Do these have a scope on them? They don't. It should have. Well, it does have a scope that tells us that it's an entity name file override. Expired. That's entity name file name override. So we can pluck those out. What we need to be able to do is know that this is meta.package.expired, which is what that is telling us. And that. So when we look at this thing, that says meta.package.override. Hang on. Meta.package.override is going to be the text. Bang, bang. Complete override, like so. We probably want to make sure that we have an appropriate test for that. By changing it in the diff, we changed it in the override report. So that has a scope of meta package override, and that is the scope of meta package over expired. Expired package override versus regular overrides, which is cool. If it's in the override report, it's also in the expired override report, which isn't going to show up here per se, but that still works there, and that still works there. So that's good. And then the diff report, we know it works there because that's the place we actually modified the thing. Meta package override and meta package expired. So we got that part going. Diff report is the same as the bulk report. It just uses one package versus all of them. which is why there's multiples of these things here. This one wouldn't necessarily be here if that file wasn't actually there. So we could easily, oh, because that's in default. So yeah, we'll leave that there. So we don't need to do anything in the package report. Let's get rid of the, yeah. Because there's really nothing that changes in here for that state. We could try to create a hover pop-up for this, but there kind of already is one. This is currently disabled. It doesn't have any information about it, but it could. You know, it knows this is 1.6.2, and that's where this thing actually came from. It doesn't necessarily know anything else about it because that package doesn't provide one, but nevertheless, that'll all work out exactly the way we want it to, right? So that part's good. Hang on a second. Yeah, cool. So if we add some extra pop-up action here, we should be most of the way there. Let's first of all change some stuff. Hello, Ashwin, how you doing? We're gonna need the syntax test for diffs, I suppose. You still work? You do. That's nice. I don't know. I assume we have an appropriate thing here. Oh, we don't? We must. How could we not? Huh. Well, I'll be Jimmy jammed. The diff, which is this one, doesn't know about those particular situations. Expired can only appear here if complete override appears here as well, by the way, because a package override can't be expired unless it's a complete override. It's just how that works. Hello. Today we're working a little bit more on the hover pop-up stuff that we were working on last week. There's a couple of more things we want to add in there. Then we're going to potentially cut a release. When the stream ends here, we're going to jump over to Twitch and do a little bit of an evening bonus stream there as well. We're working on a slightly different project there, but we're still using Sublime. If anybody has any questions, I will totally answer those questions there just as well as we would here as well. And depending on where you are in the world, there's going to be a live stream tomorrow as well. It's my last day of vacation. I specifically set aside some time from about, I'm thinking, roughly 10 o'clock in the morning my time till 2 in the afternoon. That is Pacific Daylight Time, with a brief break in the middle to take the pooch for his quick little lunchtime walk and give him some food because he needs to take some medicine tomorrow. We will be live on Twitch there as well. Maybe even an evening live stream on Twitch. It is going to be a live stream heavy week. For right now, what we're working on is some syntax tests, and in particular, realizing that there's apparently some aspects of this that we did not put any examples for, or for tests for. We're not testing that these have an appropriate scope, which is weird to say the least. We have one for a dependency package, which should never actually appear. We have one for a commented out one, which should never appear. And expired and unknown. Why, however, do we not have a version of that for these? That's weird. Well, here's what we're going to do. Because we already know that part's going to work. Oh, there's actually more stuff that needs to be in here too. All right, here's what we're going to do. If we had something like this and it said complete override and, okay, if we had that, then we could say that that was the appropriate scope here. Yeah. There's not a lot of functionality in override audit for complete overrides because they are so infrequent. More or less the functionality that's in there is a safety that tells you when you've done it and that it's out of date. Why are we unhappy about this? Oh. Off by 1 error. There's that. Then, just because we can verify this. Like I say, you can never have too many of these things. And it's one of the things that I don't do a lot of syntax development work, as may be obvious from watching me actually do this stuff. But, oh, I see what I did there. Are those scopes going one too far? No. Why is it? Oh, sorry. Are they going one character too far? No. That's weird. Meta.package.expired. How's your days going? Or how has your day gone? Today was actually a... Sorry, my shirt's riding up. Oh, I think I might have a work mail. Oh, hang on for one brief second because someone may have resolved my problem for me with mail while I was away on vacation. It's got to double check. Hey, check that out. It's magically delicious now. That's exciting. Sorry about this, but it was one of the things I was going to have to worry about tomorrow, and perhaps now I don't have to, as long as these things are... Well, I'm pretty sure that didn't happen today. Or maybe it did. Maybe some people didn't know. New comments added. I'm out of office, but I think someone fixed it and did that. No, we didn't do anything kind of thing. Oh, wait, that's the other laptop has that problem. Yeah, all right. We won't worry about that for this then. Looks like it has, oops, not actually been resolved at all. Control Enter on a test line to get all scopes. Oh, neat. Like this? Or does it have to be like this? You said Control Enter, right? Is there supposed to be a syntax associated with this? If that wasn't here, then this should not be either. Oh, on that, okay. Well, you said on a test. Oh, that made it unhappy. That doesn't do anything. Does it have to be inside there? Well, it thinks it's doing it. But it doesn't seem to do anything. We'll just turn that off. Oops. I think we want something like that. Just to verify, complete override works. Complete override with expired works, but expired doesn't work because a package can't be expired unless it's also a complete override. I might also not know what the hell I'm doing. Wouldn't actually have anything in there, would it? Yeah. Sin. Huh. Oh, wait a minute. Did I just see something in there? Or was I just hallucinating? Probably hallucinating, huh? Build with syntax test is what I saw there. It's a 10. There can't possibly be a syntax for that because it would be too wacky. All right, so we got all of those are things that will now test out and work. So let's, nah, we can leave that there. That should be fine. In here, the same tests should also work in an override report. Oh, look, there we're testing it. Irony. It's wrong now, though. Well, it's still right, but not as right as it could be. That should not be that. It should be the other scope now, if we want to make sure that it actually worked. Which is meta.package.override. That won't work. That will. I like to break things in a way. Hello! Welcome. We are currently working on some syntax tests for some changes that we're making to the Sublime Text package that I'm using. Well, that's the thing, right? Inherently it knows the syntax from there, but that's why I'm sort of curious about that. How are you supposed to set the syntax to this to what it's actually supposed to be so that it knows how to do it? Because that's not normally how I do these sorts of things, because it has to be a text file for the syntax test to work, as I recall. And there's not a syntax for it otherwise. How could there be? The lines that aren't comments actually have to be highlighted in whatever syntax is less loaded here, right? As I understand it anyway. Let us... Okay, that'll work. That'll work. This should actually be this. And we're still good. Some of these tests are more robust than others, shall we say. If we had something like that, that should be not that. Oh, I'm sorry. Hey, come back. Entity name package enable does not. Oh wait, what did I do? Ooh. That's interesting. That's what we did in the other test, right? Meta.package. It shouldn't be meta package expired. What does it actually end up being in that case? I guess is the ultimate question, right? That is an override report. So Oh man, it's being caught by another rule. Oh, I've made my life hellish. Does the same thing happen in the diff report? I assume yes. Here, oh, here it's a disabled package and a comment. And here, disabled package and a comment. Not actually what it is, because it's supposed to all be on one line. The real question is why it doesn't work in one test, but it does work in the other. Is that not meta package expired? Yes, that's not meta package expired. Is that not meta package expired? No. Line 31, 7. Oh wait, I'm looking at the wrong thing. Wait, what? Syntax text override report dot text on line 31, column 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, why would it? Huh. You ever get that feeling the syntax for your package might be kind of broken? That's an unfortunate turn of events is what that is. Entity name package enabled on line 31. That's not what it turns out to be in that particular case, because it doesn't know that it's a package name. It thinks that is the package name. At some level, that doesn't necessarily matter because it can't ever be generated that way, and there's probably a good reason for that, because the fact that package names can have arbitrary white space in them, but also there needs to be white space separating other things, has been a thorn in my side in this project from the beginning. The actual thing that's doing that is this. The variable for package name looks like that. Non-greedily 0 or more of that character plus, which include, sorry, not any of the characters that can't be in a file name, including a space, followed by 0 or more things that can't be in the package name, but the question mark makes it non-greedy. So if there's not any other matches, if there's other matches rather, it gives back. So that would seem to indicate that is that for a positive look ahead? That is why it's not working. Interesting. So, positive assertion that the package name is followed by a piece of white space, a greater than sign, any number of characters followed by the open brace that tells it that this is an expired package. It sets that scope and then goes into check status to actually grab the stuff. If it only has that one, then it's enabled and not expired, and it goes into check status. So there would have to be one that looks forward for one of those and sets it to something invalid. Hey Dev, I am doing well. I hope you are doing well as well. That being the case, I don't think we necessarily need to fix that because it's not something that I'm ever going to generate. And so that's probably cool. The fact that we were testing it is nice. How things going, Ben? Today it was Victoria Day in Canada, which is basically an excuse to sit around and watch TV. In particular, we watched The Lincoln Lawyer a fair bit. New show on Netflix based on novels by a guy whose name I forget right now. Not too shabby. Would recommend if you like lawyer procedural things. It's kind of what it is. It's an overarching story. It's kind of like you might think a better episode of Law and Order that takes place over 10 hours instead of one, basically. What all did we change here? Because we don't necessarily need all of it. We definitely like the idea of knowing that that is a package override. This is the stuff we added in here. That we want, that we want, that one we don't necessarily care about. And that'll pass. Pretty much, yeah. We also had a fair amount of rhubarb. Somebody at the place where my wife works. It's actually, it's not super lawyer procedural. I mean, I kind of like those sorts of shows anyway. Not Law and Order. Well, not recent Law and Orders because they're too derivative and samey. More like, I guess, if I'm being honest, maybe more like a Matlock or a Perry Mason style of lawyer procedural thing. It's probably not even a lawyer procedural. Like, there is a case, there's a private investigator, there's investigations happening, there's some courtroom scenes, but that's not the focus. There's actually a story that's being told overarchingly, if you will. Oh. Okay, and this is the one that's making us unhappy, right? Cool. I feel like if you watch enough police procedural shows like that, you start to get a sense that you know what the writing in them is so consistently the same that you can feel like a lawyer by shouting out objection, argumentative. And like, oh, he's never going to sustain that. Yep, see, look at that. He totally overruled that. I'll give you some latitude, but let's see where we're going here. It's just, there is a little bit of that in it, but it's still interesting besides. Ben, have we ever talked about Legal Eagle on YouTube? A YouTube channel about an actual lawyer, or that he is an actual lawyer and he talks about like actual legal things. One of the types of things that he does is a lawyers, and he'll watch like an episode of LA Law or Law and Order or Better Call Saul or shows like that and say what is and is not correct about, how close are they getting this to the reality of things. And I think by and large, this is probably why we actually, I'm pretty sure we've talked about it on a stream either here or on Twitch. The Better Call Saul episode where Jimmy goes into his potential disbarment hearing and proves that Chuck, is not really suffering from that particular illness. Yeah. That's what made me think of that too, because I used to like Law and Order like a long ways back. The original cast, like Jerry Orbach was still on there and the like. But as it went on, it just started becoming too cookie cutter. So I'm sad to see that it went, but I'm kind of glad that it did, because it's just too much of the same, and that's what like Law and Order SVU is now. In our opinion, it's not as interesting. It's like they ran out of stories or something. Well, I can get very clumsy, especially when it comes to manipulation, so I'm happy to stick to science. But sure, I do like good lawyers. Yeah. Lawyers, they all stick together. I liked how that video was like, this seems to be exactly ripped out of the can't think of the guy's name now. Oh, this seems to be like a retelling of the Bill Cosby story. And now this video is demonetized. Just like that, We don't need good lawyers. Has anybody been keeping up on that whole Amber Heard Johnny Depp thing? Yeah. My wife and I were discussing that earlier today, and how, like, there's no doubt that there's stuff that happened there, but it really seems, at least to me, like, however much truth there is in what Amber Heard is saying, it seems like a lot of stuff is overfetched or far-fetched and overblown. And it's kind of like the dog who cries wolf, at least to me, which, seems like it's hurting her credibility. So we'd start ignoring actual problems that she might have actually had. It's time to like not do that sort of thing, Great. What did he say? Great Scott, Yatku? Also, hello. All right. That's for that and that. For those two things. Do we care about saying what that means? I don't think so. I think that's probably fine. Yeah. I haven't actually pushed this yet, so stage that and that and that and hang on. I guess the sneeze decided it didn't want to come because I muted the microphone. I think I could have been convinced if the story was kept to smaller, more verifiable claims, but the bigger it blows up with no evidence to... Yeah. That's, that's sort of like our take on it as well. It's just like, it seems to be growing more and more ridiculous by the day. There's no doubt that there's definitely stuff happening on both sides of that. It definitely was kind of like a toxic relationship, but it's been blown so far out of proportion now. I don't even feel like it's kind of it's a self farce, if you will. That and that. And was it in one of my streams last week or the week before, someone shared the meme of my dog stepped on a bee, I tripped and hit my knee, I fell into the sea. On and on and on, viral TikTok sensation of that whole operation. I'm not I'm not entirely sure who Camille Vasquez is, to be perfectly honest. Was there anything else that we wanted to do there? It'll cover both of those, which includes in the override report and here. I guess we could have something, because this says no simple overrides found. We could conceivably scope that to say what that means. I think that's taking things a little bit too far. But we could apply a little bit of help to those things. And we need to clean that text up a little bit. So let's say we're probably cool with all of that. We'll just stick this down here for the time being. We only need one of those to be able to test it. We're going to need you. We're going to need you. Oh, I guess the other thing we were kind of curious about is, why is there so much padding on that? I can't unsee it, you know? I must have done it on purpose. Oh, right. Does that look a little better? I'm not entirely sure why it even has more margin in it in the first place, to be perfectly honest. I'm sure it made sense at the time. I do kind of like that better, though. Ah, Johnny Depp's lawyer. So Johnny helped you get the role in Aquaman, is that right? Whoosh. I've not seen the Aquaman movie. Has anybody seen it? Is it any good? I used to like the comics way back in the day. I used to go visit my grandma during the summer, and I got to read my stepdad's comic book collection, and he was very much a DC kind of guy. Think golden age of comics. Not like oh man, when would that have been? Probably 60s, 70s, something like that. I'm not even entirely sure. When Superman comics were all about him and the bottle city of Kandor with the little tiny Superman inside of it and all of the Superman robots, and you know, the Flash constantly, you know, would get his costume out of his ring and the like. I mean, I don't think so, but I liked the comics, but when it sounds derivative, and everybody probably, you know, has the same spin on it, but when I think of comic books, I think of something colorful and fun and explosive and action-packed, and Marvel movies have that, and DC movies seem like they've got the brightness and the contrast and the interest dialed way back so everyone could be emo. Speaking of things I was talking to my wife about the other day, that, you know, when I think of Superman as a character, I think of him as the character from those comics I read when I was a kid, you know, with the blue costume and the red boots and the big S on the chest, being not emo and depressed about how he's the most powerful being, which is how he's portrayed now. And, you know, I get it. Superman as a character is a really hard character to tell a story about, because he's essentially invincible to everything, and the complex of comparing him to like Jesus or some sort of other Christ figure, however that all works out, is sort of the least common denominator. So there always has to be some sort of contrived story in which somehow something weakens him for some reason. Yeah. The world spins, right? Um, I've also heard a lot of, a lot of debate, let's say. I haven't seen people actually complaining about this. But the idea that for a long time, comic books were the purview of nerds. They had very specific storylines, they had very specific characters, they had different arcs and all of that stuff. And anybody that was interested in it kind of was relegated to the, oh, you like comic books kind of status. But now Marvel has elevated comic books up above that, and everybody wants to watch a comic book movie and the like. Particularly Marvel movies, but they've gone well off the track of the established stories from the comics as far as purists are concerned. And I don't actually have any information on that personally. And now, with the incredible popularity of the MCU, people think that the movies are the canon of the Marvel Universe and not what actually happened. So... Oh yeah, I think I heard my wife talking about that too. Well, I have the money. Did you donate the money? Well, I have the money. Having it isn't the same as donating it. That kind of thing. Okay. Let's change this up a little bit. Okay, help, we don't care. We could conceivably when you invoke a help link, one of the things you have to pass is a package, and the reason for that is so that it can generate a link that allows you to go back. We could conceivably do something with that. One of the pop-ups that we have available to us in here allows you to create overrides. We could actually create links to those. Yeah. It's like me saying, when it comes to sports, I'm solidly behind whichever team eventually wins. Okay, so let's see. That is going to be the info. That's not actually what this is. So let's take that comment out. A package is always in at least one of these states, but it could be in two or even all three of them. Okay. Hello, R. Montgomery. I don't, but it's one of the ones that I'm actually working on right now. If by that you mean I'm brand new to Sublime, tell me how this whole thing works. There's a lot of information piecemealed out. Like I have one that explains the user interface, tabs, sidebar, status bar, panel chooser, double clicking to create a new tab. This plus button also creates a new tab. This drop down thing lets you swap between tabs that are in here, etc. All about the sidebar, how to put things in it, how to filter what's actually in there, go to anything, and how to open a particular file or a particular file at a particular line. That's a bad example. Use that as a preview, go away. All that kind of stuff, yes, but that's really nice that it shows that in the pop-up, and now it's just going to be there forever, right? But I don't have just a video series that covers that as a top. I mean, it's something I'm working on, but I don't have a series of videos that's dedicated just to that yet. What do you consider... Ow. intermediate level stuff, for example. In any case, I don't think it necessarily comes up as a suite, depending on what it is that you're interested in knowing. If you have any questions about anything, you can, of course, feel free to ask them at any point. Let's get rid of that for a second. Amber Turd. Oh, I see. It didn't like that because there was a swear in it. Yeah. Rough stuff. Okay. If it's not text, leave. Oh. We got meta package expired, meta package override. Boss, it totally gets in here. If it's a package name, do that. If it's a specifier, set the hover text to that instead of what the hover text actually was. Because we're generating the view to show it in, the point at which to show it, the link to display, and whether or not it's detailed. So the hover text is whatever you hovered on, and if it's that, then the link is linking to a package so that it knows what kind of thing to display. If it is a package specifier, the hover text becomes that. LF view.match selector point and meta.package dot expired, then we can say the hover text equals that, and if it's meta.package dot override, let's swap that for complete override, like that. Actually, I guess we don't need to do that because that's actually what it's going to pull out, right? So those parts are things we don't actually need to do anything with, theoretically. You know what? Get an NPM integration type. I do have... There is a video on Git integration as it exists in Sublime. So that is something that exists. NPM integration, I'm not entirely... I mean, that would be like, what, something like an LSP server, perhaps? That's something that's on the pile of things. But other than that, I'm not sure exactly what NPM integration actually entails. We want something like that to be a print $1 $0, and we'll make that be source dot Python. Nice. Just adding, I don't know that there's actually an integration available for something like that, to be perfectly honest. Let's take a look. NPM commands within Sublime Text. Install package control. Type npm. Open a file. Type npm to see npm commands. Invoke. Oh wait, that's different. I think that's pulling the npm commands out of the package. Npm install package name. Yeah. That may actually do what you want. I'd give that a try. It never occurred to me to have an integration for that in Sublime, because if I had to do something like that, I would just do this and be done with it. Since you're going to have to type the name of the package anyway. But, yeah, that's interesting. Let me go over here and add one for Git integration. Make a note. And one for npm. Boop. Let's see. Almost 100%. I believe we're probably all familiar with that game whose name escapes me at the moment, where you come up with a random term and you win if there's not an npm package named that. Can't remember what it's called, mind you, but there we go. Whoops. On. What's the date today? There's a package that does that. Is that interesting at all? Maybe we can create our own somehow. That seems like it would be a fun situation. Let's go ahead and yeah. Did that actually put anything in there? Probably didn't, did it? Click up, you irritate me sometimes, bro. Yeah, you didn't actually store that in there, did you? Shoot. I have a big list of video topics that people have asked about, so I can draw from it when I'm creating videos. There's a package for that. Is that useful? Check it out and see. Boink. There we go. Okay, so it's my supposition that it would have been my supposition that that actually does something. Oh, I guess it probably helps to do that, huh? That's the info link, that's the complete override link, that's the expired link. So we could easily add some help for those two things as well, pretty easily. And that thing you saw me doing on the console, I've done it on my Windows, on my work Windows computer, but I haven't done it here. But I'm very used to the idea of typing CW tab for console write, and for various languages. I think I even have one for C. Not on this system though. We just saw the ones that are there. But since I use that for debug logging stuff, I use the same tab trigger everywhere and just use a different selector to make sure that a different snippet is available in different positions, so that you always end up with something that is easily usable, that will just work everywhere. Okay, so let's. Didn't actually have to change that part, so that's nice. That part just gonna work. A package is always in at least one of these states. I don't like that, because that's this. How do you force an extra blank line between these things? That's not a good way to do that, right? Oh, maybe it is. Should I put that inside of the LI? Does it matter? And is it a self-closing tag? That was more my main concern there. Yeah, we don't like that, do we? I did reload that, right? Yeah, we don't like that. All right, outside of it, it is. Interesting. I'm not entirely sure if it's supposed to be a self-closing tag or not. But since that works, let's go with it. S marks packages at ship. Okay, this field provides a shorthand for letting you know the different states in which this package might exist. A package is always in at least one of these states, but it could be in two or even all three of them at once. The different states are like that. S marks packages that ship with Sublime Text. Packages of this type are not installed in a user visible location. But are I don't want to say they're available to. I also kind of don't like that. We could say package files you install manually as well as those installed by package control. And U marks packages that appear as named folders in the packages folder. Is that enough information? S marks packages that ship with Sublime Text itself. Packages of this type are not installed in the user visible location. I marks user installed packages installed into the installed packages folder in a Sublime package file. This includes package files you install manually as well as those installed by package control, and U marks packages that appear as named folders in the packages folder. Beauty. Hey, I've been hearing more about that. A pox on my monkey. Next one is this one. This override is expired. An override is considered to be expired if the underlying package that contains it has been updated since the override was created. This could mean that the override is now out of date. It might need to be changed, or it might not be needed any longer. It may, let's say, it may no longer be needed at all. You can use the diff report to determine if you need to make any changes. I think we can link that to a command, but we'll worry about that in a moment. You can use the diff report to examine if you need to make any changes. If you need to say, well, I guess that kind of makes sense. While expired, your override may block new bug fixes and features in the source package since overridden resources are always used. In favor, wow. Something like that. So this is telling us that this override is expired, and our override is considered to be expired if the underlying package that contains it has been updated since the override was created. This could mean that the override is now out of date, it might need to be changed, or it may no longer be needed at all. You can use the diff report to determine if you need to make any changes or incorporate new fixes. While expired, your override may block new bug fixes and features in the source package, since overridden resources are always used if they exist, even if they're out of date. Nice. I like the way that's worded. Question mark here. This override is unknown. An override is considered to be unknown for any file. Describing this, as I mentioned last time, an override is considered to be unknown if it exists inside of the unpacked version of the package in the packages folder, but not in, yeah. When an override is considered to be unknown when there is no file in the underlying Sublime package. We could say something here like, well, files of this sort might be old overrides that are no longer needed. In a technical sense, since don't actually represent an override, rather than the user visible location, maybe it could explicitly tell it's not located in the data. How many people actually know what the data directory is, though? By that name. I do think that that's actually in here, though. This terminology is unique to override audit. Okay, blah 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 blah. This terminology is unique to override audit. Is used to indicate that an override is overriding a file that has been updated at the source. When this happens, this Sublime doesn't warn you. No, that's not what we're talking about here, is it? It's this one. A shipped package is a packed package that ships with Sublime Text itself. These packages provide the core functionality of Sublime Text. It says I used the word itself twice because now I'm kind of sad about that, and are stored in a special location alongside the Sublime executable. This. Let's just do that since we're in the area. This makes them common to all users of Sublime Common. Okay, there we go. It also has default examples of something like that. So we have precedence for that. The idea is because we see so many people saying, "Oh, I was told this was in the default package, but there's no folder named default in here. Is my copy of Sublime broken?" You're like, "Well, it works, so no, but you're not supposed to find that." Are not installed in. Okay, how about this? Oh. I'm afraid I'm going to have to make some changes here. Stored in a folder in the application install. Like that. Jerk. Look how much I'm violating the rule of, whoops, 80 characters. Shame upon me. I suppose I should fix that, huh? Since we're in the area. Explicit is nice. I tend to try to draw some kind of line between providing full information and providing enough information, if you will, which is entirely one of those. Yeah, they might. See why it's a very slippery slope? I don't want to say data directory because there's no directory actually named data, and I've seen more people be confused by that than people that didn't need to have it explained. Let's not say user configuration area. Configuration area, I mean, do we have to actually say it that way? We probably have to do, don't we? I don't like it, but you know, what's the chances anybody actually reads documentation without asking a question anyway, all else being equal? So I guess we only need to worry about that so much, right? An override is considered to be unknown. That should probably be one of those. That shares its name and location within the package. We can say, in a technical sense, this is not actually an override and is just a regular package resource. However, files like this may be old overrides that are no longer needed. There may be an indication that while working on a package you forgot to include some files. I don't like the way that that is actually in. I guess we can actually invoke arbitrary commands in Sublime Text 4, right? But that's not something that exists in Sublime Text 3. So that seems like something that we can kick down the road to fancify things up in Sublime 4. Oh, actually, do I have a... I don't, do I? How do I not have a to-do? That's a hell of a thing. But, yeah. Links that follow commands, that execute commands are crazy easy. Oh. Oh, okay, well now I'm worried. You've worried me, Ashwin. You've worried me. Cause this. How did I do that? Did I do that in a way that doesn't actually work in Sublime Text 3? Or no? It's not help, is it? No, it's not. Something in this area. I'm very much not happy with how this works, but I'm also not willing to include dependencies to be able to do it. Ah, okay. So we're kind of short-circuiting our way around it, so this will still work. So that's nice, at least. In that case, I guess we technically could make that happen. All right, come up with a list of all of the things that need to be linky links, and we can tweak it up since we're in the area. Underscore pop-up link. Let's make a note. How much time we got? We got a half an hour here before we run away. I bet package control does, but it's probably not. Oh, I pulled a mustache hair. Probably not public. I don't think it is anyway. Should ask Will about that. Okay. Here's what we're gonna do. Okay, the complete. Oh, that is help. We don't care about help for our purposes here. Yep. We don't care about that. That's old news. A problem with this, of course, is that browse packages is gonna open the appropriate location. So that is one of these, right? Oh, we made that unhappy. Wait, what the hell did we do there? Oh, shoot. Is that what I had there a second ago? That link is not known, so it goes goeth nowhere. But we can make that do something. Hey, I wonder. I kind of wonder why that's taking so long. Can I do this? Okay, I'm going to go crazy if I don't turn that off. Don't like that, huh? Wait, what do we don't like about this? Oh, that's not actually a valid dictionary because I'm a fool. There's the dance. Hey Ashwin, if you have a Windows machine handy, try that and see if it works there too. Or if it gets cranky about it. We don't actually want to call that browse. Oh. We'll call this browse data dir, let's say. Browse data dir. Swank. Problem solved. I'm gonna politely refuse to create something that opens the installation folder because anything that invites somebody to try to modify one of the packages that ships with Sublime is something that's probably going to get me beaten with a sack of doorknobs. I'm a little unhappy about how that's bumped out. I think that's supposed to look like that. Packages type are not installed in the okay, marks easier installed. This includes package files you install manually as well as those installed by package control. Okay. An override is considered to be expired if the underlying package that contains it has been updated since the override was created. This could mean that the override is now out of date. It might need to be changed, or it may no longer be needed at all. Okay. 113. We could actually create a link there, but we would have to pass in the name of the package that's being hovered when you do this, which isn't information that it directly has at its fingertips at the moment. So let's punt that for a moment. Not impossible to do, because this does it. This knows what package this is stored inside of. By saying, if this is the scope of this look backwards from this location to find the next package, and then we'd know. Well, I do kind of like it as an idea, I'm not gonna lie. The problem with that is that it might not actually do anything. You can't diff report a package that doesn't actually have any stuff in it. Actually, it should probably work just fine, I would imagine. Here. if the package was named, say, user, there's not a Sublime package file for that. What's a package that I don't have overridden right now that exists in core Sublime? Python, I suppose? Nope, I have a Python. All right, so that actually won't cause a problem, so that's nice at least. Here. Here's what we're gonna do. We'll wrap that in an href equals diff report unknown package. And we can do a little bit of that. Okay. This override is unknown. An override is considered to be, oh, sorry. What we actually did there was a little bit of this. Unknown override is going to be in a different folder, isn't it? You. Oh, I suppose there's an error with that, isn't there? So we go like so. Huh. Did I not just add? Oh, that expired. I'm looking at the wrong one. Pardon me. Oh. Oh, we made that very cranky. There we go. That, oh, that time it actually displayed an error. That's handy. Doesn't always. You can use the diff report to determine if you need to make any changes or incorporate new fixes. While expired, the override may blah, 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 blah. So you click on that, and so if we could pass in a package to this thing, that would be no problem, right? Next, unknown. This is considered to be an unknown when there is. People are still using Sublime Text 2 for better or ill, so we got that going on. Files like this may be old overrides that are no longer needed for though they could still be an issue. For example, files like this may be old overrides that are no longer needed. Let's just leave that for the time being. We don't need it to get too fantastical here in our help. Okay, so the different types of things. Now we're looking at you. A package that ships with Sublime Text itself and is available and is common for all users of Sublime. Packages of this type. Oh, actually, here, hang on. Documentation for the win. Chip packages are stored in a special location. Okay, Shipped packages are stored in a special stored inside of the Sublime installation folder. Oops. Just do that. You can just say, don't be alarmed if you can't find them anywhere, and don't change. Okay. You should never directly modify a shipped package. And that's line 160. It's just going to be override. Shoot, I lost track of we can do that here as well. Oops. So when we do this, this is a package that ships with Sublime Text itself and is common to all users of Sublime. Packages of this type provide much of the core functionality that you get out of the box. Shipped packages are stored in a folder inside of the Sublime installation folder. Don't be alarmed if you can't find them anywhere. You should never directly modify a shipped package. Rather, if you want or need to change default behavior, you should create an override instead. We need a way to do that that just invokes the command and it could get you to prompt. Then we don't actually need a package for that particular one. You should be able to just do that. And it'll pop the list. And keep in mind that when we go forward with this, this is going to be a little cooler because it can be something in the command palette. So there can be a helper there that says what is actually supposed to be in here, and these things will be annotated with whether or not they're shipped packages or installed packages or whatever. Yes, I'm not pleased with that either. Create an override instead. Bonk. There it is. It's allowing us to create an override. Ooh, happy days. We should probably add an exclusion for that, but nevertheless. All right. Normally this would be done by package control, but you can also install packages in you should never directly modify a package installed in this manner unless you manually put it there. On the future upgrade, your changes will be discarded. Then we will go like one of those. If you want or need to modify the behavior of the package, you should create an override instead for an installed package. This is a package that is installed as a Sublime package file inside of the installed packages folder. Normally this would be done by package control, but you can also install packages manually as well. I think I like them like that better. Manually as well. You should never directly modify a package installed in this manner unless you manually put it there. On a future upgrade, your changes will be discarded. If you want or need to modify the behavior of the package, you should create an override instead. With that link, well, that'll work. When a package appears in both the packages folder, okay, if a package, again, issues with the descriptive process. Say something like, is and also appears in the, can't do that, in the packages folder. Any files that is not great. This is a package that appears as a named package, as a named folder in the packages folder. The contents of the folder represent the contents of the package. If a package is installed in the installed packages folder or shipped with Sublime and also appears in the packages folder, any files in the folder will override similarly named files in the underlying package. That's actually not super terrible. Now, we're going to need a couple more of these. That's that one. And the other one is expired. The most dangerous cut of all. Let me go over to here. This is the complete one and that one. Perfect. So throw that in there. We're 99% of the way there on this operation. We are, however, running out of time here, so we may need to punt this to the next stream. Whoop, hang on a second. I think I got a message here. Nope. That is a distinctly different thing. Boop. We will worry not about that particular situation and say, okay, so what did we say about complete overrides over here? Under the terminology section, packed, no, unpacked, shipped, installed. Okay. Oh. Whoops. Sorry, I meant to do that. Is an override that replaces the entire contents of a package that ships with Sublime Text. A complete override is an override that replaces the entire content of a package that ships with Sublime with a new package, such as a version from a newer build of Sublime or one in which desired. Okay. To be a complete override, a needs to exist in the name of one of the packages that ship with Sublime Text. Okay. For a complete override, Sublime will ignore its own packed-in version of such a package in favor of override is powerful but uncommon. And to my memory, I don't think I've ever seen anybody actually do this in the wild, although it is entirely possible. A complete override is an override that replaces the entire contents of a package that ships with Sublime Text with a new package, such as a version from a newer build of Sublime, or how about that? Such as a version from a different build of Sublime, or like that. Theoretically, right? To be a complete override, a Sublime package file for a package needs to exist in the installed packages folder, as well as having the name of one of the packages that ship with Sublime Text. For a complete override, Sublime will ignore its own version of such a package in favor of the one that is user installed. This type of override is powerful but uncommon. Yes, yes it is. And then, here. How did we explain it up here? Did we explain it up here? Yeah. Let's copy this. Is a oh man, is that what it said up there? No, I didn't notice it. This override is expired. All right. And expired complete over. Oh, look, that's going to be too long for the line. Oh, we're going to be doomed. Similar to a regular override, a complete override is considered to be expired if the shipped package that it is overriding has been updated. since the override was created. It might contain files that no longer exist or be missing new files. This is the danger of this operation. So it kind of goes like that. You can't really use the diff report for something like that currently, so we're not even going to worry about that. Similar to a regular override, a complete override is considered to be expired if the shipped package that it is overriding has been updated by an update to Sublime Text since the override was created. Which probably, I guess, we could do a little bit of this. Just so that looks a little bit nicer. Oh, I'm happy with that. So there's really only one thing left to do here. That'll work. That'll work. I think we lost track of which one of those things is actually going to be broken. That'll work. This one. You know what? That is for an expired override. Yeah, we just need to modify that particular command as 2. Because you should be able to do that in the same way as you do this, realistically. Things have to get worse before they get better. That'll give us everything. So it'll actually even help you with that sort of stuff. So, bully for us. That is going to be combined with that. So let's stage that. Change to our README file where we just tweak stuff up a little bit. And then we modified the help text for all of those things to make them a little bit nicer. And we've tweaked up the help and changed the links a little bit as well. So I think it's probably really all we need for that. So let us stage that and we'll amend the previous commit and this is implemented for the package type and reports, including the specific ones in a package report. Different types of overrides. Expired, unknown, complete. Expired, complete. And let's say this. Cleaned up in the future, such as being able to pass package names in. So that's what we have for that. I think one last thing that we'll do here very, very quickly is include extra hover pop-ups on different parts of the various ports that are available. I think my width is, yeah. Such as the different package types. We'll include that. And we'll say 225. More hover pop-up help has been added to reports to make the package type legends and to give some easily accessible documentation on the package type legends and override types. All right, and I think we'd sort of plunk that in here. Unless we think of something that I would, or I want to add into this, I think that would be enough of a change for us to push out as the last build for Sublime 3, and then we can focus just on Sublime 4. Clean up some of these other things like our browse panel enhancements that display things a little bit nicer with quick panel items and placeholders and the such, which currently we're not doing because we don't support the proper version of Sublime. Well, we do, but we want to constrain, if you will. That's going to do it for tonight. Thanks for everybody for stopping by. Because I have the day off tomorrow, I'm going to be doing a live stream tomorrow, sometime during the day on Twitch, and also a bonus stream potentially in the evening, unless something comes up there. I'm not entirely sure, but daytime stream for sure. Let's say for sure there's going to be a bonus stream tomorrow, potentially too. There'll also be a stream on Wednesday and a stream on Friday on Twitch, as we normally do. Links to that down in the description below. That's going to do it for now. As a matter of fact, I'm going to take a couple of minute break, and then we're going to go live on Twitch as well and continue working on the project that we've been working on for the last little while, because we recently did a test of it in a real world scenario and things worked rather well. So I'd like to get a little bit of extra work in on that as well where we can. And I thought, what the hell, might as well stream that up. So thank you for everybody who watched and participated in the chat and asked questions. We'll see you next week. There will be a version, a new stream scheduled mere moments after this stream finishes. So if you'd like to be reminded about that, you should be able to come along and click the old remind me button. It's been a while since I've done that for my own streams. Thanks again for watching. Until next week, I hope you have a Sublime week, and we'll see you maybe in a few minutes on Twitch, or tomorrow, or Wednesday, or Friday. Who can say? Good night, everybody.